Hello ladies and gentlemen, SeKo Starcraft back with some more games of the WCS qualifiers for Season 2. So these happened a little while ago, but we still got Yugioh versus my boy Flash. So excited to grab these replays. It's almost impossible to get replays of Flash regardless of when you're trying to cast them. So to get ones that are actually quite recent, I am very happy about, and my mouse isn't working very well. Come back here, mouse. There we go. Feel better? Nope, it's not doing that good. As a part of how I play games, so if people ever wonder why I'm really crappy sometimes, a part of the reason, not the entire reason, a good part of that reason is I'm just crappy, but a part of the reason why I don't do really well is, if you see me going all over the place, is I use a wireless keyboard and mouse, and they both do extremely poorly when it comes to sensitivity. As you see my mouse not moving right now, I'm actually moving my mouse, it's just not actually moving with me. So at some point I will have to upgrade out to what I would consider to be an actually moderately capable setup. But we'll see when that actually is. I'm not hardcore GoPro, Gosu gamer enough to really worry about that. But it's really crappy when you're playing a game and you're trying to micro and you're going really well and all of a sudden like your mouse doesn't work, your keyboard isn't in range, or the batteries start dying and you just can't do anything. I've had a couple of games where I've lost like essentially my keyboard if I had to just win with my mouse alone. So much fun. Excuse me. It looks like we're going to get a CC first out of Flash. Pretty standard. Scout from Yugioh, so we'll likely see the command center on the high ground because of that. Yes. Two reasons to do that. One, if the scout is in here, that means the opponent knows what you're up to and can counter it easier. Nice play. Does finally a mineral walk. That would have been really awesome if that had been the case. Gets as many shots as he can. I like that. That's pretty cute. We actually have 18 before pool here out of Yugioh. As greedy as possible in this opening. I only ever really do this if I make a mistake. And it looks like we're going to have a third hatch before pool. Oh yes. Me likey. And we'll see Terran players any ability to do anything about that. There was a gas down before the barracks, or right after the barracks, so we'll be able to get something like Reapers or just move it to his factory. But in most cases, the Terran's not going to be able to punish this at all. Only certain Zerg players that I see really are ballsy enough to go for this really aggressive 3 hash before pool against a Terran player. I mean, if you get out, if for whatever reason, I mean the scouts here, you got yourself, I don't know, 8 to 10 Marines with good positioning, you can generally kill off one of these hatches. So it's just very important now for Yugioh to be aware of what's coming at him at all times, and that Flash doesn't just all of a sudden tech into some sort of attack that he's not ready for. I'm much more inclined to think Flash will throw down another command center. Did he see that other hatch? He did see that hatch down here. He didn't see the other one, but I'm pretty sure just seeing that one hatch was enough to tell him that getting another command center is probably going to be more than safe. He will get out his factory first as my computer blows up. Likely so that way he can get some Hellions out, and he'll protect himself against any type of early harassment. It's not very likely we'd see a Roach Warren all of a sudden just go down from the Zerg player. He'll leave himself pretty vulnerable to any type of run-bys or drops. Overlord's in good position to scout later. You always want to be able to run in there at some point as a Zerg player and see if there's, you know, Banshees coming at you, or if it's maybe like a 2-factory Hellion build or something junky like that. That early game and late early game awareness is just pretty critical. We see how greedy both these players are playing, that finally the bunker's going down, no real rush on that. He's getting another barracks over on this side, so it's a little bit out of vision, and getting himself 2 more gases. I think we're going to be seeing a bit of a punishment out of Flash here, as opposed to a complete greedy macro build, which is a little bit surprising for me, honestly. Going into these 3 barracks and 1 factory. And as I was saying, if you can get yourself out a good chunk of Marines and with these Hellions in tow, unless there's a good Roach count out, it's very hard to stop that. So I think that's what we're going to see here. It's a reactor, and it's a reactor. Wow. The tech lab for stim. By the time that stim pack is finished, we will be seeing Flash go for some sort of attack. This is a great scout timing here by Yugioh. He's actually sending in both overlords from either side. That's going to let him know exactly what's happening. He's going to lose 2 overlords for it, though, more than likely. Nice split off from Flash. Already sends 2 Marines the other way, just so that way he's got the optimal chance of killing both. It's going to be important if you can see those other 2 barracks. This is a really interesting meta gameplay here by Flash, because I don't think a lot of Zerg players expect this. Going to go into some really heavy Marine counts, and we do have Roaches on the way, but there's a starport coming as well. We might be able to even get out a couple of medevacs by the time Stimpak and +1 are finished. So this is going to be a very powerful... No, looks like 1 scout did get up there from the Zerg player. Nice scout there by Yugioh. Does see the double reactor barracks and should anticipate some sort of attack. So we see 11 Roaches on the way. And I think that should keep him safe. There's no Marauders or tanks in this piece, so I think that should be alright. Not the most massive of worker supplies, but on 3 hatch, he's going to be doing pretty good. I'm a little worried about Flash's position now that this has been scouted. He doesn't have that other command center going down, so he's not going to be able to have out that sick army number that I think he originally wanted to. Sorry, sick army. He's not going to be able to really just overwhelm his opponent, and he doesn't really have this fallback economy behind this. So if this attack doesn't work, the Zerg player is going to be in a really great position, and we see him building nothing but units right now. Upgrades are a bit behind. The timing for Flash is going to be a lot better. Killing this Overlord would be nice too. He is going to move that Overlord away. Good awareness by Yugioh. Good surround by the Roaches. So say this is not enough by Flash to deal with this. So many units flooding out now for Yugioh. And I think Flash would have gotten away with it if that wasn't scouted. But because it was, I think he's in a bit of trouble. The lair is pretty delayed from his opponent, so that is something going from. Oh, it does get the shot off. It's too bad it doesn't kill a creep tumor. There's the next command center on the way. It swapped this out actually for a tech lab. Very strange. Wants to move into the Marauder count now, assuming that his opponent is going to keep moving on Roaches, and I don't think that's going to be the case. I think what Yugioh is going to do is just have out these Roaches for the sake of this defense, and I don't expect him to make a lot more. Now that his upgrades are happening for his melee units, his lair is going to move in, he's probably going to get Spire. I think that going into Marauder play at this stage and tanks is a bit of a misread by Flash, assuming... Oh, no, there is more Roaches. That's a lot of spores. Very strange there by Yugioh. I wouldn't have expected that necessarily. Unless he is very afraid of more pushes. I think he would have enough of an army to deal with it. That is a lot of drop. That's a lot of spore crawler defense. Oh yeah, an itchy ear, but it's fantastic now. If Flash goes for this and does end up getting himself in a lot of trouble, I don't know if he's going to be able to recover well enough. Finally has that 3rd command center finished. No sign of a 4th base yet. It's a good chunk of units. Flash does have the upgrade advantage right now. Banelings are just in production, so he doesn't really have the kill-all unit that I think he really wanted to at this stage. He's going to try to bounce between the bases, but there isn't a lot of room here with these spores. As I say, I thought I heard a Viking. Does see the banelings with that scan. This command center should be able to move over pretty easy now. So the game is just kind of normalized at this point. I think now both these players are going to return to what their original build was going to be. Lots of banelings on the way. We don't see that Spire though, as I anticipated. Looks like his way of dealing with these drops is to really overcompensate on defenses in his main. I can't really blame him for that. It sucks so much to get like doom dropped by a Terran and you just can't pull back in time to recover from it. And I guess I read this differently than Flash did. I thought that getting these tanks would not be the wisest choice. Hopefully he sieges these back up again. There we go. It's a pretty big... Did Flash just get dropped from the game? Well, how crappy is that? Well, I'm going to have to go see if part 2's kicking around. Alright, it's somewhere around here that we had left off. This game has been recovered from a replay. It sure has. Right about here, Flash dropped from the game and we were back in the game. Get in the game. Sports. Pretty good looking attack here by the Zerg player. A lot of banelings hitting tanks, which is not ideal. But there's still lots and lots of roaches left. Good repair on the bunker. The tank will go down. Drops come home. Not a lot of Terran units, but I think it should be enough. Oh wow. In case you didn't know. So, Flash stabilizes a bit and is actually in a really, really huge lead. That is not what I expected after that. Only got 7 workers killed in that entire attack. It didn't kill the base either. That's a little bit unfortunate. So he's back making a ton of workers because, well, he's getting back up to a respectable number. Tank in play, bunker in play, more bunkers. Flash knows he just got to hold on for a little bit here, get himself back up to a good stable zone. I don't expect Yugioh to go for another attack into that setup. +1. He's going to finish for mech, and then 2... Oh, maybe he will. And then 2-2 is just finishing up for his bio. I think that just puts him... I think that puts him level right now with the Zerg player. I think the Zerg players, yeah, it's at 2-2 right now. Killing this base will be worthwhile. Good kill and good save. Good save. They say only Jesus can save, but they never heard of medevacs. I do like putting down the sensor towers here. I think there's almost no reason not to if you've got the resources, just to make sure if anything else is coming at you from different angles. One thing I also have been seeing a lot more out of Zerg players on ladder is burrow roach play. I mean, sometimes you can just win with burrow roach play. Sometimes you just catch the opponent off guard, break away underneath his mech line, and then you just win. So that's why I generally try to move a missile turret around wherever my rally point is for my tanks or my army, just to be certain. But regardless, it's becoming a little bit more trendy right now. Flash doing a good job with these drops, just keeping the Zerg player honest. He's macroing up super well. Finishing up his wall, he should be able to push out really soon. This Spire, which I assumed was going to be the play from Yugioh this entire game, it's only getting up now, and it's at the 18-minute mark. So tech-wise, I don't think he's really at the level he wants to be. He is at Hive. I mean, that is saying something. A couple of macro hatches, so he's going to be in a macro blitz ability, but he's still only on 3 bases. Flash is really, really diligent about scanning ahead of his army, making sure he doesn't run into any type of burrow baneling play. Very easy to lose your entire army to just some burrow banelings. Finally remembers that he doesn't have concussive shells. You can notice that a lot with pro players when they start shooting something and realizing it's running away much faster than they anticipated. Like, oh yeah, right. I don't have that slowing thing for my marauders. Flash is almost maxed out. He's got a huge supply lead right now of his opponent. Changelings. Great scan. Sees what's coming at him here. 3-3 is going to be finished up quite a bit sooner for the Terran player here. So if he waits... Oh, he's not going to wait long enough for those to finish. He is attacking on creep. His tanks were not sieged. Great target firing on the banelings though. Corruptors are out. Is there a greater spire? Can't be already. He just finished his first spire. Yeah, there's no greater spire. The corruptors are a nice thing to have to try and snipe down medevacs, but I don't think that they were really going to pay the dividends he wants at this point. They're just eating up a lot of his resources into something that's not going to stop the army from just marching over him right now. The Flash always makes tons and tons of medevacs, so I don't think that was going to be enough to really slow him down. And with that base down, that base just started. I think this is pretty much curtains for our Zerg player. More roaches that don't have the upgrade advantage, and they're probably just going to die as soon as they come to life. GG. Great little game from Flash. A little bit of a hiccup in the middle there, but I'm actually a little surprised Yugioh didn't hold this off into the extra late game. But as you can see, Flash is very prepared to be able to go into that kind of battle. Thanks everybody for tuning in. More of my boy Flash and SeKo Starcraft coming at you here soon.